Nope, we don't want to see the intro twice in a row.
Well, what is going on, everybody? It is Tuesday night, time to talk some football. You guys all know me, SAJ, Loudmouth of the South. Um, I don't know if I used this one or not. I think I might have. Um, but I'm coming to you. If I use this one, I'm going to switch it. But I'm coming to you live from the Kettle Restaurant Studios.
I don't know if you have. It was on my that
You,
was on my list to use. I don't know if you've
okay,
used it or if I have used it, but you know what? It's still a good one.
you remember the Kettle Restaurant?
I sure do.
Oh my gosh, that was some of the best greasy spoon crap you could get, and especially back in the day when we had the San Antonio International Speedway, I believe it was called, the oval track next to the drag track out on Highway 16. You'd be able to get coupons there for like dollar breakfast, right? And it basically was, the country, scramble plate with eggs and toast and bacon and just all kinds of goodness, man. But for a buck. And back then, even then, it was still pretty good damn deal.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh, for sure.
where are you coming from today?
You know what? I'm gonna keep it kind of in the same vein. I'm gonna come at you. I'm gonna come at you from the Shoney Studios.
Nice.
Yeah, kind of the same.
I
Kind of.
forgot.
Right, like I said, right in the same vein of type of food, type of place. So I think it
I
works.
forgot all about Shoney's.
I think they still have some in other cities, other states, but not San Antonio. So it counts for what we're doing here.
There you go. Well, and I was going to default to Sirloin Stockade if
There
we
you go.
didn't, right? Because we don't have one here.
No, we don't.
So,
We don't.
but
Dude, did you watch the games this weekend, man?
I watched quite a few games, one
Bro,
of
bro,
which
it was a crazy
made me
weekend.
sick.
This weekend was like it had NFL 2 ACL 0 because they were just
Oh,
snapping all over the place. Is it too soon? Is it
God.
too soon for that? I know you Green Bay fans are trying to take up an ACL collection for Parsons, but uh
Yeah, and I think actually this guy is going to be donating one to Micah Parsons. So I appreciate you sacrificing,
yeah.
for the good of
And I
Green
mean,
Bay.
Kansas City, they're lining up to take whatever part is needed to give to Mahomes, just to get him to walk again.
Yes, they're 100% going to Forrest Gump his legs and
Mm-hmm.
everything they can. Not that it really matters because he's pretty much done.
Oh, he's yeah,
I mean,
he
obviously he's done for the year,
for
but
sure
the
done for
team
the
is
year.
kind
He's
of
going to
done
be
as
done for
well.
the first probably half of next season, dude.
If he comes back, and that's
He'll come back.
kind of one of those.
He's still young. He'll come back, but you know, who it's going to be one of those. What is he going to come back like?
Well, but that's what I'm saying. With it being as late in the season as it is now to uh, get that injury, would it make sense for him to come back and play 3 or 4 games next season, or
Yeah,
sit out, fully rehab, and be ready to go?
I,
That's the
I think a
question.
lot of it will depend on obviously one how he feels, how his rehab is coming in. And then I think a lot of it is too, how are the Chiefs going to be doing next year? The first half of the season without him. I mean, if they're close to a playoff spot, I could see them, bringing him back. If they're 1-8, there's no use in bringing him back. So
Yeah. Um, I would think that that's a situation we're obviously going to have to monitor closely and wait and see what happens next season. After the first 4 games, I think we're going to have a pretty good idea of what kind of team we're looking at with the Chiefs. So it's more we just got to kind of sit it out and wait and see what happens. Don't mind my co-host; he's very needy tonight.
yeah,
Um,
if you see me doing this little number over here, my two co-hosts actually they're over here now. They're running around crazy fighting, knocking crap over. So if you see me looking like what the hell was that? That's what I'm looking at. Or if you see me
that
looking
sounds
this direction, I've got the Spurs and the NBA Cup Finals playing on the TV. So if you see me pay attention to the score, just don't mind me. Kind of
yes.
doing a double duty here.
Yes. So obviously there's a lot to talk about. Uh, Pretty much tradition. Why don't you go ahead and walk us through that Cowboys game that
I don't want to.
got to kind of have to, so I can share all this.
I mean, it looked like the defense that I was complaining about at the beginning of the season was back. I mean, the defense that made Jacoby Brissett look amazing, that made Russell Wilson look like he was, year 3 Russell Wilson with the Seahawks. They returned, made JJ McCarthy look absolutely amazing. And I mean, how the hell do you do that? You must be terrible if you make JJ McCarthy look good.
Well, hang on now. Okay. And this is going to be rare, but I'm actually going to stick up for the kid. Okay. This is his first kind of, run, right? This is his freshman year. Um I I would say maybe cut him a little bit of slack,
Nope.
especially considering the fact that, you know, he's a he's playing for the Vikings. Kind of a weird system there, right? It's either, make it or they pretty much kill you. So that's a lot of pressure to put on a young quarterback like that. But you're right, the defense definitely helped him out and kind of made things look even better than probably what they were. And
I'm just going by kind of uh what we've seen in the past, this year from he hasn't played terrible, but he's played
mm,
like you would expect a first year player to play. I mean, to be fair, I think he's shown some signs that he's got some talent. He'll probably be a
mhm,
good quarterback, but he made a lot of just silly mistakes that you would expect. But he didn't really make any of those in Dallas. I mean, he had the very first play, his pass was an interception, kind of you know a little fluke interception, I guess, if you will. But other than that, he played amazing. So yeah, the,
yeah,
the
and
Cowboys defense did not do enough to make him look like he has for the rest of the season.
well, I would argue that they did enough, but they did it in the wrong direction, right? They did all the right things to make him look better, and
Yeah,
that's probably
yeah.
not the direction you want to go.
Like
Although
no,
I
no,
will say,
sorry guys, no, no, no. You weren't supposed to let him do all that stuff. You weren't supposed to let him throw for 250 yards and a 108 rating. No,
yes, I will say though that I heard Kenny Clark did pretty good for you guys that game, and definitely influenced the run stop a little bit.
he did.
So
He
there's
he
at
had a
least
good game. He had
silver lining there.
a couple tackles for losses and stuff like that. He had a pretty solid game.
So Rankin here said he beat the commies too. Nobody plays defense in the NFC East.
Well, that's true.
Um, well, and I think the Cowboys got everybody a little bit fooled because they started playing defense for a little bit, and then Jerry was like, "Hold up now, hold up. We don't do that here. Okay, we only score points, and then we
Yeah.
give up points. We don't stop points." So,
Speaking of, we only score points. You know, I'm just from now on, and this is obviously Cowboys are out of the playoffs. 1% chance Philly has to lose all their games. Cowboys have to win all their games. It's not going to happen. Cowboys are out of the playoffs. So let's just get that out of the way right now.
yeah,
So I'm gonna put a moratorium for obviously for the rest of this season. This season going to the next season as well. If Dak does a pregame interview, he needs to stop saying stupid stuff like, "Oh, we got some great things for y'all. Just watch and see." Because they were asking about obviously the last game there was some Pickens kind of gave up on a couple plays. It was kind of big talk in the news and stuff, and obviously CD got hurt. And so they were asking him, all right, CD's back, Pickens was in the news, how are they going to work together this game? And he's like, you don't got to worry about them. We got some real, we got some stuff planned. So y'all look out. And one of the damn thing they had planned that worked. So, Dak, just shut up. Just say, you know what, we're gonna try and play hard. All right. Both teams played hard, my man. That's what I want to see. Just shut up about
So
trying to do anything special or trying to show us anything. Because what you showed us, nobody wants to see.
true, true. But Robert brings up a very good comment that I would like to get your take on. Okay. Robert said the Cowboys are averaging 29 points a game and still have a losing record.
Yeah,
Kind of rare in the NFL, right?
it is.
Um,
Cowboys have, at least going into the game, whatever statistics, metrics you want to look at, the best, or one of the best, if not the best offense in the league. You can look at yards per game, scoring, all that. So they're in the top of all of the categories. Their defense just can't stop anybody. It's been like that all year round. Now, we had a nice little 3-game stretch where the defense came together. Other than that, played absolutely terrible defense. The last 2 games for sure against the Lions and now the Vikings. So, it is. I've said this, all season long. If the Cowboys had a good defense, we'd for sure be a playoff team. If we had a top 10 defense, be a Super Bowl contender for sure. And seeing a couple things, especially since the trade deadline, the moves, seeing some stuff that you can build on, but it's still not all there. And obviously, these last 2 weeks have shown that the Cowboys defense is not where it needs to be if this team really, really wants to be seriously considered a contender. Which,
okay.
hey, people always laugh at, it's our year. The Cowboys want to think that every year is their year, but it ain't going to be their year until they get a solid defense.
So then let me ask you this because I was trying to figure out how to work this question in, and thank you for the segue on it. But your season is essentially over, right? Barring any kind of crazy, you know, uh, financial whatever, what two things would you change about the team right now? Players, the
Uh,
coaching staff,
Defensive
the
coordinator, get
okay,
Eberflus out of there. Um, and I think the secondary, uh, the secondary has really been exposed with the absence of Parsons this season. Uh, and I know we've talked about it before too. With a player like Parsons, rushing the quarterback, making errors, making the quarterback, make some rush throws, some panic throws. It gives the I wish we could change that ranking. We can't though, not for another couple years. But it gives the secondary a chance to be a little more aggressive than they normally would be, to take a few more chances, because you got to have those errant throws that are kind of covering you a little bit. Well, if you don't have that pass rush, if your quarterback has a lot of time to throw, well, that's just kind of is able to show the gaps that the secondary has, and we've seen that all season long. I mean, Deron Bland, he's had a couple good games, but he's had a lot of absolutely terrible games. Diggs, he was good 3 years ago, and obviously he hasn't played the last few games because of a concussion, because of a knee, because of I don't know, butt hurt. I don't something he's in his feels. I don't know what it is, but he's not playing right now. But even when he was playing, he was getting torched. You saw it a little bit the season that he had, whatever, 6-7 interceptions or whatever. It was kind of he
seven.
was either going to get torched or he was going to intercept the ball. But that was kind of his style of play. Now he's not getting, now he's not getting interceptions. Now he's just getting torched. But you're seeing that a
Yeah.
lot from the secondary. So I don't, if it's scheme, if it's talent, if it's, the wrong players, the wrong positions, whatever, something has to change with the secondary. Could use a little bit of help with the linebacker. I do like, the pick up Logan Wilson. He's been a pretty solid pickup for us. Overshawn, fantastic player. Maybe one more linebacker. I like our defensive line right now. What we picked up with Kenny Clark, with the trade, the guy from the Jets, Williams. My mind just went blank. But I think we have a solid defensive line that we can build on. So I wouldn't say change too much on that, but yeah. And then Rankin brought up a point. Aubrey. You know what? If Aubrey's missing kicks like that, just pack it up. You're done. I mean, it is just not your night.
I do not disagree at all. I really think that that's kind of a telltale sign, right? If your kicker isn't doing what he's basically paid to do, uh, especially a kicker of that caliber, uh, it's not a good sign, not a good sign at all. But I have to believe that this is probably just a one-off and not an actual sign of things to come. Because Aubrey's pretty solid. He may
Oh, he
have
is.
a bad game once, every season or
He
two, but
maybe I think this is probably the worst game he's had. Yeah, I mean, he really the last few seasons he's only missed one or two kicks a game. I don't think he's ever missed two kicks in a game. If he has, it's been maybe just one game. And not just missing two kicks. One of them was a 40, 45, 46 yard or something like that, mid 40s.
mhm,
And then one was like a 51 or 52 yarder, well within his range. I mean, if he's missing something like 60 yards or whatever, and it's a 60-yard field goal, you can forgive that a little bit. But anything inside 55, he has proven to be automatic for.
yeah.
So this is just real weird.
So we talked about it last week going into this week. We knew, speaking of automatic things, we knew the Bears game was going to be an automatic win. I just didn't think it was going to be that bad. 31-3. Poor Browns are, 3-11 now this season. I can't
Yeah.
remember a time in my life where the Browns were necessarily relevant. So
They were a playoff team 4 years ago. They had a
maybe,
good season.
maybe.
They had like one. It was like a 10 or 11 win season, sometime within the last 10 years, and they made the playoffs.
I'd have to go
But
back
yeah,
and
other
check.
than
I
that,
don't, yeah. Uh, Texans, of course, Texans are doing pretty good. They played the Cardinals, which you kind of knew, especially with little baby Kyler Murray, that wasn't going to be much of a challenge, but they definitely rose to the challenge. And it looks like the Texans are finally kind of, back on track. They should be playing for a wild card spot, if I remember correctly. Um, but they're
so just 2023 Cleveland Browns went 11-6, were second place in the North, made it to the playoffs. So
okay,
2 years ago.
okay. Wasn't that when not Burrow, what the hell's his name? Quarterback.
Baker?
Yeah, Baker Mayfield. Yep.
No, that was no, that wasn't Deshaun Watson's first year. That was when Flacco came. Remember when
That's
Flacco
right.
took
Yeah.
over, like off the couch, basically played the last half of the season.
Yeah. Uh, so I don't know. Uh, Speaking of guys coming off the couch, how did Father Time do in his first
Oh,
game?
old man Rivers.
Yep.
He didn't have a great game, but the man hasn't played football in 5 years. So I mean, he had a much better game than you would expect for someone who hadn't played football in 5 years.
Yes. Yeah, that was pretty impressive, all things considered.
I
Maybe
mean, 18 to 27, 120 yards, one touchdown, one interception, a 73 rating. For being 44 years old and not playing in 5 years, that's pretty damn impressive. Did you catch his interview? Yes, Rankin. This is kind of what I'm going with. His interview on Friday or on Thursday or Friday, they were kind of asking him what his weight was now, and he was like, "Well, I'm not the same weight that I was when I walked off the field." Uh, basically, he's like, you know what? I'm a little heavier, but that just means when I hit somebody, it's going to hurt them a little more. Like he was over here talking
Nice.
about trucking fools, you know, as a quarterback
At
and
44, where you can break it.
at 44. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Dude, that's the kind of swagger I like to see. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. Okay.
Oh, I love it. You know what? I mean, I've always loved Philip Rivers. I think he's a great human being. I loved watching him play. I love the way he would trash talk on on the sidelines and stuff. I just loved everything about him as a player.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just fantastic for me. So I kind of sucks that now his Hall of Fame. He's got to wait another 5 years. But
Yeah.
this is going to make one hell of a movie one day. So
It could. And who knows? He may be able to play with one of his kids out there on the field or his grandkids. You know,
grandkids maybe.
he's got what 100 kids, so he's bound to have like 1,000 grandkids. So, anyways, it was nice to see. I know it's kind of a novelty. It doesn't make sense to bring back a 44-year-old quarterback, but I mean, if you can get a talented guy, maybe he's a little bit more
They
seasoned.
almost won.
Yeah. So
Against the Seahawks, who really should have beaten them. I mean, as good as the Seahawks have been this season, 11-2 going in, Indy having a 44-year-old quarterback that hadn't played in 5 years, Seahawks should have freaking curb stomped them.
yep.
But obviously the defense held Seattle, and I mean Rivers did enough that they very well could have won. It was kind of a last-second field goal that put Seattle over the top. So
Yeah. Um, Rankin said that the Seahawks had a rookie starting at QB, which, I get it, but still, you got a rookie starting at QB with a team that knows what to do versus a
yeah,
seasoned veteran who's probably never thrown a pass to any of these people before. It kind of balances out, I think. But
they had Sam Darnold started.
oh, well, see, there you go. What is up? It's my guy, Solrak,
Hey,
uh,
what's
from Helmet
up,
Painting.
man?
He's the guy who did this one. I'm probably going to be talking to him about doing another helmet for another team here in San Antonio. And happy holidays to you as well, my friend. Um, Speaking of things that didn't show up, Green Bay's defense did not show up.
Ooh, man.
First quarter, we were up 3-0. And it looked like a good, evenly matched game, right? Second quarter, kind of the same thing, right? We put up 13, Denver put up 14, and we knew it was going to be a bit of a fight. It was not going to be easy. Um, but then that second half of the game happened, and I don't remember exactly when it was that Parsons went out. I believe I saw him in the third quarter, and then that was it after that because I don't remember seeing him like being carted off or anything. Um, but it just went downhill from there. That second half was absolutely atrocious. Uh, you guys all know how I feel about Jordan Love. 24, 40, 276, one tutty, two interceptions. He had a 68 QB rating, and he deserved it. Okay. Here's my problem with all of this. Jordan Love, as decent of a quarterback as he can be, is extremely reliant on Christian Watson to make this team happen. Well, we know quarterbacks have their favorite receivers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rodgers had Adams, um, uh, uh, God dang it, Jerry Rice, and well, he had two quarterbacks actually throwing to him. Um, but like we know that quarterbacks are going to have a favorite receiver, but they always have other receivers they have a relationship with that they can dump off to. With Love, it was Tucker Kraft and it was Watson.
Nope.
Watson was out for quite a while, so he developed the relationship with Tucker Kraft. Now Tucker Kraft is out, Watson's back in. But where are the other guys? Right? Matthew Golden, you guys have heard me talk about it, and then I've complained about it from day one. Matthew Golden got involved in one play that I know of, and he drew a PI call. That was his only contribution to the team. Well, I say that. Let me make sure. No, I take it back. He got three receptions total for 55 yards. But one of them, was a PI call as well. And or there was one PI call involved with that. Um, where's everybody else? I see three receivers that barely broke 50 yards for the entire game. Where's everybody else? Everything else pretty much came uh kind of from the ground, you know, which again, there wasn't that much there.
I mean, I would
And
you had 276 yards passing. It just you didn't have the guys going off for 100, 120 yards, but it was pretty evenly distributed, which is really what you want to have as a quarterback. You don't want the defense to be able to lock in on one guy. You want to be like, all right,
well, that's true.
any of these guys can beat me, and they kind of did that. Like, I mean, the ball was pretty evenly distributed. You got 3 catches, 5 catches, 4 catches, 2 catches, 3 catches. So
I'll give you that. But there were a lot of like targets to Watson that
now what I didn't
were
see
not
was
targets.
I didn't see the interception. So I don't know if they were bad passes or what. So, you know,
I believe one was a bad pass and one was coughed up at the end of the game, where it bounced off the receiver. Um, just a fluke thing, right? Yes, it was a bad catch on the receiver's part, but it's just kind of one of those things where you just don't expect it to hit like this part of your shoulder pad and ricochet straight up for
yeah.
the back to come grab it. Um, but yeah, it was rough. It was rough. And especially watching a quarterback like Bo Nix go off on us, it was insane. Now, Robert brings up a good question, right? We had a lot of people getting dinged up in this game. From what the latest report was on Christian Watson, it's essentially just a stinger. He avoided a major injury, thankfully, and he should be back for this next game, no problem. However, however, we know that Micah Parsons is not coming back.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to speak bad of the man, okay? Because we've already talked about it. We know he's made a difference. But now what do we do? Okay? We're stuck with a guy who's making 44 million and he's not going to give us anything. These next three games, we've got nothing for it. So we've essentially paid, and I'd have to sit down and do the math and figure it out how much it is per game, but it's probably over 4 million per game. We're going to pay him essentially 12 million, uh, and we're going to get nothing for it, right? We're going to pay him next season, at least half of the season, and we're going to get nothing for it, right? Because ACL injury, you're usually out for about 9 months. So then what do we do? So to pose the question to myself, um, what two things would I change? First and foremost, I would find a way to farm out Micah Parsons. And I know you guys keep telling me that's not the right thing to do, and that's fine. I get it. But we're stuck with a huge, huge hit to our salary cap for nothing.
I will say this, and you know, kind of the same question that we kind of posed about Mahomes, kind of any player that has a major ACL injury, you don't always expect them to come back the same. You know,
Exactly.
Micah Parsons pre ACL and now what we're going to see post ACL is probably not going to be the same player. Last
Yep.
week, I would have told do whatever you can to keep the man because he is still a fantastic talent. We're gonna
Mm-hmm.
have to see. I mean, some players come back like nothing ever happened. Some players, their entire way they play changes. They
Yep.
lose speed, they lose burst, stuff like that. So we're gonna have to see. So if you've got a team that'd be willing to take him, it might not be a terrible deal to get rid of him. If you
Yep.
can get something pretty decent for him.
Yep. And like Robert said, we lost draft picks in the deal. We lost a lot of money. It's one of those things where we put all our eggs in one basket, and then that basket fell apart,
Yeah.
right? So if we can find a way to farm him out to get back something, we're going to take a salary hit no matter what, because nobody's going to pick up that salary cap
No.
or that salary of Parsons. So we're going to have to take a salary hit. Hopefully, we can work out some kind of a deal where we can get a first round pick back or something like that. It'd be a very, very low pick, but maybe we can work something out where we get a pick out of it and eat some money on it, right? And hope to God we can get somebody cheap that can fill that role until we can develop someone. But those would be the two things I would change. Oh, I'm sorry. I would make that deal and I would focus on our secondaries because our secondaries, Xavier McKinney keeps showing flashes of potential, knowledge of what he's doing, and then he blows big plays. So it's like, dude, you're consistently inconsistent. That doesn't work, right? Even if you were just above average, if you were consistent, that would be okay. Because at least you know what you're going to get, right?
Yeah.
It's the roller coaster. That's the thing that drives me absolutely crazy. So those are the two things I would change. Um, Unfortunately, I have to give credit where credit is due. Yes, Green Bay beat Chicago in Green Bay. Well, now we've got to go to Chicago, and we're going without Micah Parsons. And I'm pretty sure we're going to get curb stomped. I mean, Love is going to try and do what he can. Oh, let me put a caveat on my change. If I could not pick up secondaries, one thing I would like to see is a veteran receiver presence in our locker room because our guys are young. We have alluded to it before, at least. We're one
Yeah.
of the youngest teams in the NFL. And so there are problems with discipline and there are problems with field knowledge, if you will. I really think a veteran receiver could help out with a lot of that and make some of these guys a little bit better with veteran experience, right? Uh, those are the things that I would change. And then I would also change playing Chicago next week too, because like I said, it's gonna be messy. It's not gonna be clean at all.
And you
Um,
said that was in Chicago, right?
yeah, yeah, and I really do think that it's gonna be a bloodbath. So we threw everything we could at Chicago last week, and now we don't have all the things to throw at them, and they're just gonna run all over us, right? Caleb Williams is probably gonna have. I'm not gonna say he's gonna have
I
a
mean,
career day,
this game right
but
here is for the division lead for you guys.
mhm, everything rides on this game because
Yeah.
if if we lose this game, there's still a chance that we can take over the division, but Chicago would have to lose out and we would have
Yeah,
to win
you're I
out.
mean
And I
you're
don't think that's
one.
going to happen.
Well, so I don't know. It's that tie is what's throwing everything off.
Mhm.
So, you
Right.
know, you're gonna have
But
to y'all are even in the loss column, but Chicago's up by one in the win column because of a
right,
tie.
right.
So
If if for whatever weird reason Chicago winds up with a tie, we could potentially take the lead as well because we do have a better division record.
yeah.
But I mean, what are the chances of that happening?
Yeah, it's
Right.
don't count on
So,
Chicago to get a tie. I mean, we've already had our one tie for the season.
yeah.
Uh but I mean, I think
So,
this game right here is what's gonna kind of determine y'all the rest of y'all season. You're a couple games up on Detroit for
mhm.
the second spot. Right now you're in the seventh seed for the conference. Just that last wild card spot, but this weekend can put y'all into top four and have a home game. So
Yeah, it it's going to make a difference. Every game counts now, right?
yeah,
And so we have to wait and see, obviously, what happens. How are we going to adjust with losing Parsons? Um, I have no idea what the rest of the season is going to look like. Everything is up in the air. Um, I will say though that as we're getting towards the end of the season, right, and we're getting to the point where every game counts, we're really getting to some good competition,
Oh
some
yeah.
really good games, right?
This is my favorite time for football. Not only is the playoffs are starting to round out, so that you got the teams that are kind of on the cusp. They're fighting a little bit more, wanting a little harder. You have my favorite visuals in all of football, and that is the cold, the snowstorms, the snow on the field, the players with the steam coming off of their heads on the sidelines because they're sweating and it's cold. That's just this is my favorite time of football visuals of the year.
Yeah. Well, and I would say some of the matchups are just going to be incredible also, right? Rams are playing the Seahawks, 2 11-3 teams. You've got Green Bay 9-4-1 at Chicago 10-4. That's going to be a really good game. Tampa Bay and Carolina are both evenly matched. That should be interesting. Um, Chargers are taking on Dallas, not necessarily an even match, but Dallas could surprise us, right?
Probably
Um,
not.
Probably not, but you also have Jacksonville taking on Denver. That's going to be a good one. Pittsburgh at Detroit, two evenly matched teams. And then, of course, Houston gets the freaking cakewalk against the Raiders. So we'll
And then
have
Patriots Ravens. Ravens had a real good game last week against Cincinnati. There was a real surprise to me. I don't know if who was going to win,
oh, yeah, I
but
didn't even
I
see that
wasn't
one.
expecting the Ravens to blank the Bengals.
Yeah.
Patriots who have looked really good. Uh, Ravens, they're one of those. Sometimes some weeks they look great, sometimes they look terrible, but that's got the potential to be a real good game.
Yeah. Well, and you can never count out Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
You just can't, right? So obviously a lot of good football that's going to be going on this weekend. Speaking of good football going on this weekend, isn't this the weekend that the college playoffs start?
absolutely. So this is when the best football starts this weekend because I don't care about NFL anymore. My Cowboys are out, so
There you go.
uh, no, yeah, this weekend starts the college football playoffs. It starts Friday night with Alabama and Oklahoma. I mean, hell of a way to start the playoffs. And then starting Saturday, 11 a.m. Old Texas A&M against at home against Miami. It's gonna be a good game. I'm interested, and I mean I'm nervous for it. It's always you know now this is big time football. So
Yep.
regular season crap, whatever. We did what we did in the regular season. None of that matters. It all starts over, and we got Miami to face, who is a hell of a team. So
Mhm.
I'm
Well, and
really interested in seeing what we do.
yeah, and unfortunately, it only gets worse from there, right? If you
Yeah,
do
we win
manage to
that
make
one.
it
We go to
past
Ohio
Miami,
State. We win that one. We go to probably Georgia. So
yeah. So I mean, it is not going to be an easy path for you at all.
no,
So,
not at all.
but you guys like college football? This is the weekend to be watching, man. Make
It is.
sure
I
you
mean,
go see
you got Tulane and Ole Miss. That's probably going to be a blowout. Oregon, James Madison. Yeah, sorry. I mean, Tulane and James Madison got the consolation bids, but really, Oklahoma, Alabama, and the A&M Miami are going to be the two games that you're really going to want to watch.
Yep. It's going to be some awesome stuff. And we definitely are pulling for the Roadrunners in their bowl game, the First Responders Bowl, I believe it is. And, fingers crossed for them. I hope that
When is that? When is
Taylor
that
brings
one?
home. I believe that's next weekend, I want to say. Uh,
Uh,
I'm going to have to look it up now because I didn't think you were actually going to ask me, but I was not prepared.
we've already had two bowl games this season.
Yes.
We had the Cricket Celebration Bowl and the Bucked Up LA Bowl. So,
Nice.
and then we've got one tonight, the Salute to Veterans Bowl.
Oh,
That
okay.
kicked
I didn't.
off. I think that just kicked off at 8 o'clock. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Um.
when is it? Oh,
Oh, the
First Responders
student.
Bowl. Uh,
Yeah.
it is the 24th. So, a week from tomorrow.
There you go. And those are kind of more like filler games, until you get to the champion or the important ones, right? Um, but yeah, so again, right, we're hitting college football hard and heavy. All the bowl games are going to be happening. I love, absolutely love what everybody's been saying about the Pop-Tart Bowl and like showing the helmets and how cool they are and everything and just how
Again,
awesome it is. And everybody's like, Notre Dame, why?
my
Like,
favorite
why
bowl
would you
game.
give up on us?
My favorite
Yeah.
bowl game. It it
Mhm.
it absolutely is everything that we want about the bowl games, especially the non-playoff game bowls. It does not take
Yep.
itself seriously. It has fun with it. That's all we want. Let the kids go out, have fun, play a game that they love, have a good time, and have some big ass damn Pop Tarts all over the place. I mean, really, who doesn't love that?
That's what I'm talking about, man. Uh, so watch some football this weekend, right? We've got a lot going on. Speaking of a lot going on, we did hear that we were going to hear some updates from the San Antonio Toros this week,
And we did.
today, in fact, and we heard some pretty big news. So, San Antonio Toros have landed their head coach, uh, Ronnie Vinklerek, and he the Toros actually posted an interview of him talking about how excited he is to come here to San Antonio and take on the head coaching role as the San Antonio Toros head coach. Ronnie, if you don't know a lot about his background, make sure you go and look on our Facebook page. There's a link to kind of his professional career, but he's currently the offensive line coach for Texas A&M University Commerce, and this cat has a lot of experience, right? He's coached at Rice, he's coached at Houston, SMU, Oklahoma State. He did time with the Buffalo Bills, the Titans. He was in the CFL and even in the XFL. This is the guy who's the offensive line coach for the Guardians when Luis Perez was the quarterback over there, right? So he's got plenty of football knowledge, plenty of football experience, and I think he's going to be one hell of a coach for this team. But we know he's used to playing an explosive style of offense, so
Yeah.
expect to see real big things and real big plays from this San Antonio
That's what I'm
Toros
interested
team.
in how he takes his, uh what kind of the way style he's used to, wants to, and translates that to this new team.
Yeah. Well, and especially with the continental shift, right? What kind of crafty stuff is he going to come up with to be able to answer for that? Because that is going to completely revolutionize any coach's style,
Yeah.
right? Because it's not what we're used to, and it's going to be really exciting to see what they do with that. Um, we have obviously we don't have a whole bunch more updates other than we talked about it. I believe it was last week. Did we talk about it? That all four teams in the South are set.
Yes.
We,
Yeah.
we haven't heard anything from the North yet, but expect to hear something soon because the North Division is not going to want to be outdone by the South Division, and they're not going to want too much time to go in between because that's going to make it harder for them to kind of set their teams and be ready to go on day one for training camps and stuff like that. So expect to hear some more news from them. Now, speaking of news, right, we're going to switch it over to the UFL.
There's
And
been some big coaching news from them these last few days.
yeah, it's pretty crazy. First and foremost, the one that I'm sure you guys know, it it surprised us. but it didn't make us sad, right? Big Game Bob is out
Yep.
in
Re-
Houston. Or I mean in
retiring from football, he says.
Dallas. Yeah.
Which I mean, when coaches say they retire, they never actually retire. So,
Yeah, he may
but
pop back up somewhere else. He may get a gig at a college somewhere. He may, show up, you know, as an offensive line coach or, who knows, specialist coach.
he'll probably sit out for a couple years, and he'll just be like, man, I kind of miss coaching and get back in
Yeah,
somewhere, or he'll just go join the ESPN game day crew or something like that. When Saban goes back to coaching.
yep. I mean, you just never know. And Gruden's floating around in the UFL. Where he lands, who knows? I mean, I
Yeah.
think we have an idea. They talked about making him the commissioner, but we haven't heard if he's actually accepted or not yet. So
The
they
only
want to
thing,
do.
I guess, it was rumored, whatever, and then Rapoli had a tweet that was like, that sounds like a great idea. I don't know. Who knows? We've seen Rapoli's tweets, and it's just he's kind of a troll on there. So
Yes.
who knows what's actually going to happen?
Yeah, unfortunately, you are correct. Rapoli is a troll, especially if you look at his posts where he's arguing with other horse owners and stuff like
Yeah,
that. It just, I don't know. It To me, it's not a good look for the owner of a professional organization to be trolling people like that. But then again, this is Rapoli. Maybe this is what we can expect, right? But so yeah, Big Game Bob is out, and then we also found out just today. In fact,
today,
you
yeah.
broke the story to all of us. Skip Holtz is out now.
Skip Holtz is stepping away. Now I didn't see whether it was a retiring from football or taking a break from the league or wanting to go coach somewhere else. I did not see that. I just saw that he was not going to return as the Stallions coach, in the UFL. Now there is some chatterings of who may take his place.
Oh, yeah. So it would probably be our least favorite quarterback, right? Only because of the team that he played for.
Yeah,
But wouldn't that be one AJ McCarron?
it would. Which would be interesting. I mean, obviously, anybody who follows the football knows, he's an Alabama kid, went to Alabama for college. So, it would make sense, especially if the UFL wants to try to be a little regional with stuff, which I think they're kind of wanting to move to. That might be a solid choice for him. Just name recognition. Now, does he have the coaching chops? Who knows? I mean, he played forever. Uh, uh,
Yeah.
so, and I mean, quarterback is a obviously you have to have a lot of knowledge to be able to play quarterback. But how many times have we seen that actually translate to coaching? I mean, how many former quarterbacks, do you think that are making good coaches? It's a lot more defensive players. I think that's what we see more coaching wise right now. Former defensive players make good coaches. Off the top of my head, I cannot think of a former quarterback that's coaching right now. Kellen
I
Moore,
don't know.
Kellen Moore, OC for Philly this year. Obviously, he was the Cowboys' backup quarterback. Jason Garrett, okay. Now a couple of them are coming to me. I mean, Jason Garrett was never a good coach, but there's a reason he's not coaching right now, and he's in the NBC studios.
True. True.
I mean, who else really? I can't think of any off the top of my head.
I'm actually checking. Uh, I'm seeing a lot of people that are like high school coaches, right? Former
Yeah,
quarterbacks that are high school coaches, but not former NFL quarterbacks as head coaches.
I've always thought
Jim
that
Harbaugh,
okay.
right? But that's kind of about it. you
I've
know.
always thought that Tony Romo would make a great offensive coordinator. Just watching him kind of diagnose plays for CBS, uh, that's kind of who I've always wanted Jerry Jones to bring in as the OC, whoever the coach was, because I think he'd be great at it. But we haven't seen that
Oh,
yet. So
apparently Spurrier was a quarterback. I didn't know that.
yeah, but that was when you weren't even allowed to throw the ball. So
And everybody wore leather helmets. I got
yeah,
you.
yeah,
So yeah, there aren't too very many, and I think the problem is that you kind of identified it. You have to have a lot of football knowledge, but it's got to translate across offense and defense.
yeah.
Quarterbacks know how to read defenses and you know throw in routes, but are they picking up all the nuances and everything like that? And I
But you
don't
would
know that
think
that
you would
necessarily
think that they
translates.
would. Of all the positions, you would think that one is, you know, the one who's reading the okay, this guy's leaning a little bit to the right, so he's gonna rush this way. You know, like you have to be able to read that, and you tell your receivers which routes to run at that point. So I just, I I'm surprised that not more quarterbacks are, bigger coaching names.
I just have a feeling that it probably translates better in basketball for former players to then become head coaches than it does in NFL for like, quarterbacks to become head coaches. But that's just kind of, my thoughts on things. Overall, it's uh it's just interesting, right? Just to kind of see how uh players kind of make that transition into a coaching role. Um, or people that probably never played a day in their life becoming head coaches like Mike McCarthy. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I had to take a shot at him, you know. But okay, so that pretty much wraps up. Oh, this guy. Look at this guy. Yep. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up all of our updates on NFL, college, uh, Continental Football League, and the UFL. We don't have a whole bunch necessarily to talk about with arena football, but we do talk about arena football here. So first and foremost, AF1 has the schedule. The schedule has been released. Everything is good to go. There are some transactions going on, not a whole lot. November and December have been kind of quiet. Uh, but again, right, they were doing their training camp or their tryouts rather, trying to figure out who's kind of going where. And so expect to see a lot more stuff coming up, but the schedule looks pretty good. And I don't remember AF1 to watch those games. I actually clicked on the link right now to see who it is that they partnered with. Evergreen. Okay. So the Evergreen streaming service, if you want to watch any of the AF1 games, you'll have to get a subscription there, but then you can watch those games there. And probably I'm thinking about maybe potentially getting that. I don't know. I mean, I would like to see how Beaumont does their first year in the league, but I mean, I don't know. That one's one I'm going to have to weigh the pros and cons on,
Yeah.
right? Um, in the meantime, in the IFL, we've actually had some pretty decent movement, right? The San Antonio Gunslingers have been signing a decent amount of players, and I'm excited about this part. Um, I want to say it was Vegas Nighthawks picked up a former San Antonio Gunslinger defensive back, right? So that must mean we at least had some talent on the squad last year, right? So that being the case, if we're replacing people, we've got to be replacing them with hopefully better people. And from what I've seen, the moves that they've made, the people they picked up, and everything, they're definitely looking to bring the nasty this season
Yeah.
and kind of redeem for last year. So expect to see a much improved, much more hungry San Antonio Gunslingers team that's going to be going for the top because I'm pretty sure they want that championship. And there are new teams. We talked about it last week. There's new teams in the league and everything like that, but you've got a lot of the returning ones, and so it should be a lot of action. And I'm especially interested to see if the trend continues. Like, we talked about it before, right? Last year or this last season, it seemed like defense became more of a factor in the game.
Yeah.
Is that trend going to continue, or is offense going to adjust to try and take defense out of the game again, and we get more high scoring games? So obviously, we're going to have to wait until that starts. Now, the last league we want to talk about, National Arena League. I'm going to lovingly give it a new nickname, though. Okay, I'm going to start calling it the Natty Light League,
I like
right?
it. I like it.
Because this is much more of a working class kind of league. Still respectable, right? They might show up to the party with a tie on,
I
but
I
after a
I
couple of
don't know.
natty
I don't know
lights,
if Daddy Light has ever been referred to as respectable.
no, it's a natty day, man. It's perfect, right? If nothing else, they've got the greatest ad campaigns,
I
right?
mean that's true. You know,
So,
it's no Keystone, but you know what?
oh well, nothing can be Keith Stone. So, no, I'm excited about this, just because again, this league is almost completely revamped, right? Um, Amarillo, West Texas Warbirds have come back, and sir, you need to. There you go. Um, Amarillo is back, so I'm excited to see that. Um, but we also now have a new Dallas team.
Nope.
That's going to be interesting, and there's a to be announced team. So we're actually looking at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 teams total in the National Arena League. So they are working on bringing in another team to kind of balance everything. So obviously, I don't think that means the schedule is out yet. Actually, no, it is. It is. Um,
They have a lot of
there are
TBDs in there.
there are a couple of TBDs in there. Um, oh, you know what? They put that in there, and it looks like those are non-league opponents. So they're only going to have 11 in the thing. So maybe I got a little bit excited for no reason. Uh Sorry, I'm talking to people on the Instagram. Anyways, so yeah, it does look like the to be announced team is going to be non-division
Just
play. So
exhibition games, basically.
yeah, they may be grabbing some team from the AIF or something like that, filling in holes wherever. So that's kind of a bummer. I was kind of hoping to see, and maybe they are negotiating something with somebody. There are still teams that are out there that are not, combined with any other league. Um, I believe St. Louis has an arena football team. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that could potentially be a thing. And the team that just joined the Continental Football League originally started out as an arena team.
Yeah,
They were
that's
going
right.
to take their bid at arena football, but then when they got this opportunity, they decided to go real professional football instead. And so, anything can happen. So we're definitely going to keep an eye on that and see what happens. Well, okay. That being the case, I think we pretty much covered just about everything that we can with football. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think so.
Arena News, start looking for Arena News to come out after the holidays, right? You should start seeing some more movement there. You're definitely going to see some more movement from the UFL, from the Continental Football League, and as things are starting to wrap up in the NFL and college football, obviously, our attention transitions over to these other ones. So as we hear things, obviously we're going to keep you guys updated. Next week we're not going to be on the show
Yep.
because it's crema time. We need to spend time with family and friends.
I got family coming in from
Probably
both coasts, so
there you go. Well, and we probably might even take off the following week because that's the 30th, right? and we want to prepare our livers for New Year's Eve.
Right. Right.
So a lot of detox so we can get
And a lot of
retoxed
nap. I
on
mean,
the
a
31st.
lot of napping too, just to be able to stay up for to midnight for New Year's Eve. I mean,
That's
now
true.
we got to prep for that as well. You know.
You're not wrong. We're at that age now, sir.
Yeah.
But anyways, one other thing I wanted to talk about, and I was going to start off the top of the show off with this, but kind of forgot, right? Because I'm old. Just, it is what it is. But I got a notice today on the Facebook. 6 days ago was our official 3-year anniversary of
Oh
Texans
wow.
talking football. Okay.
Nice.
3 years on the grind. We're 132 episodes deep. Have no plans of stopping anytime in the near future. And
You're
we
stuck
may
with
be
a
doing some, yeah, we plan on doing some spin-off stuff. Maybe we're kicking around the idea of doing a Thursday show called, Texans Talking Toros, where we focus on the Continental Football League exclusively. The reason why is because there's a lot of history, there's a lot of information there, and this whole uh, you know, continental shift thing, I'm telling you, man, it's going to be pretty revolutionary. So I'm here for it. I want to talk about that, and I want to be super excited about it. Um, but again, all of this to say, 3 years, 132 episodes, all of our live stuff that we've done, the interviews from the player showcases, all that stuff. None of it would make any difference in the world if it wasn't for you guys. So to our
absolutely.
fans, to XFL Mike G and the Alternative Football Network, to Sammy Sharp and Bobby Otten and all the guys over at Pro Arena Talk, to Dirty and A Train and everybody over at the X Band show. Um, all of you guys, all of our Bromelia that are kind of displaced right now. Um, all of you guys. None of this would be possible without you. So, from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure from the bottom of
Absolutely.
BD's heart,
Absolutely.
we thank you. It's very humbling and very encouraging to know that you guys take time out of your day to come and watch two clowns try to entertain you for an hour and at least get some kind of value out of it. So, for that, again, we thank you very much.
Yes.
BD, you got anything?
You know what? Actually, I do. This is non football related, but I do want to say something. Uh, Over the weekend, somebody that me and SAJ know very much, our former boss, he actually passed away. Uh, just a legend in the fire protection industry. Great man. Just he meant a lot to everybody he came across. My dad hired him into the industry years and years and years ago. Just like I said, he was just a great man. So I don't want to get off without just say, rest in peace, Joe Bond. Just prayers for your family, prayers for just everything. So obviously, the fire protection world, lost a great person.
Yeah, yeah. And on that note, I echo everything that BD said. I'm not. It couldn't have been said better. So uh, we're just going to leave it at that. Um, guys, watch some football, right? Be thankful for the season that's coming up, right? We've got a reason to celebrate. We do hope and pray that you guys have quality time with friends and family over the holiday season. That Santa stuffs your stockings real good. That was a little bit creepy and inappropriate. We'll leave that for a different show. But most importantly, guys, go watch some football,
Yep.
right? Take care this weekend. Take care of yourselves. And I'm gonna. Do you want to? I'm gonna close it out first, right? Suck it, Chicago. I don't care what happens. You still suck.
Hey, you know what? We're still NFL season. Suck at Chargers. Suck at Miami. Gig 'em Aggies. And you know what? We're up by 8 points in the third quarter. Go Spurs, go.
There you go. See you guys later.